Hi, welcome back to Little Grown Up Advocate. My name is Tammy. Last week we spoke about gaining control of a situation that has been affecting your day-to-day lives. I decided to complete the task with you on something that weighs heavily on mine. Believe it or not, my son and I do not always see eye to eye, and it causes a lot of friction in the home. Because I understand my son is calling out for attention, I'm usually very good about making time for him to play a game, talk, or just spend some quality time together, even if it is just for a few minutes. I have noticed that from the minute he starts acting out until I am able to spend that time with him, it is nonstop arguing between him and anyone that'll listen. There is yelling, there's stomping off. It's a disaster to say the least. But first you need to know, this is not a bad little grown-up. Second, he isn't spoiled. And third, anger is an expression of need. Don't forget that. Anger is an expression of need. Now, keeping in mind that anger is an expression of need, I need you to realize my son is angry because he believes I do not have time for him. His perception is that I do not love him, and he starts testing my feelings. Little grown-ups can get insecure if they do not feel a big grown-up is showing them enough love. It is up to the big grown-up to show little grown-ups that they do love them, that they do matter, they are respected, and they are important, and put their fears at rest. My problem is not spending time with my little grown-up or being tested. My problem is the family outburst. So I started thinking and realized that he gives plenty of warning before the war begins. It starts with a simple question such as, can we play a game? If I am busy, I say in a little while or later. A few minutes later, he asks again. All right, as parents, most of us knows what happens next. Our little grown-ups start bouncing around, become quite chatty, get into things, and the more annoyed we become, the more the process repeats itself until, unfortunately, our little grown-up is harshly reprimanded, sent away, or worse, hit. I need us to remember that the entire argument began because little grown-up wanted to spend time with the person they love the most, and that person, the big grown-up, ultimately rejected the little grown-up. And now little grown-up is in trouble for asking for a few minutes of big grown-up's time. So this made me think about real world. When I am at work and a subordinate needs to see me, I either see them immediately or schedule time. I have never said later and left it at that. And then if they press me, I haven't started yelling, lost my temper, or hit them. And for those of you who have, then I'm sure you had someone else to answer to. I then thought about, as a subordinate, if my boss needs to see me, I drop what I am doing. If my boss gives me a task, I prioritize it. This made a lot of sense. So I used the control module and came up with a plan. So over here we have our uncontrollables, we have self-control, and then we have our controllables. The uncontrollable is little grown-up needs time and big grown-up is busy. Self-control, over here, we can schedule a specific amount of time that's not interrupted. We can allow little grown-up to express their opinions, and we can also compromise if it's allowed. If we put it back over into controllable, then we're either yelling or sending little grown-up away. Keep in mind the age of your little grown-up. If they do not understand time, you may want to have a task ready for them to complete. If you do not want your little grown-up to interrupt you, make it fun and make it simple. Once they complete the project, immediately do what you said you were going to do. Remember, your little grown-up is already testing you. Build trust now, and he or she will know that you can be counted on. Stay away from the controllables. Remember, controllables are the easy way out and can quickly find themselves in the uncontrollables. They also cause regret. Make sure that if you say 3 o'clock, you mean 3 o'clock. Your little grown-up will be tugging at your legs at 3 o'clock. Do not let them down. When I did the control module myself with my son, I noticed that immediately once the argument began, I was able to quickly diffuse it by saying, let's play a game. Looking at it, that's not reasonable because there are a lot of times that I am busy. So the next time I tried it, I did schedule a time, and I said in 20 minutes. My son did look at the clock and let me know what time I needed to be available. After 20 minutes, he was there, and we were playing a game together. Your next project was allowing your little grown-up to decide if they wanted to eat dinner, and if they did, they were to fix their own plates. Did your little grown-up starve to death? Did they lose weight? How was your little grown-up's response? Was it positive? If your little grown-up was confused, don't worry. They will get the hang of it. If they drove you crazy with just eating bread, don't worry. You'll soon see that your little grown-up will start making better choices. This is new to both of you, but remember, if we want our little grown-ups to make good decisions, we must allow them to make bad ones and then simply mentor and guide them into better ones. Which brings me to do as I say and not as I do. Unless you are purposely teaching your little grown-up everything not to do, then cut it out. Be a hero and be the example. If you do not want your little grown-up using foul language, then don't use it in front of them. When we had our first little grown-up, we asked that those surrounding her not use profanity. The backlash we received was phenomenal. We couldn't believe that these people not only had a hard time respecting our wishes, but most importantly, had a hard time respecting our little grown-ups. We heard things like, she'll hear it on TV, or from other people. We were more than frustrated. Finally, I let everyone know that we aren't stupid. Of course she's going to hear it, but it shouldn't come from the examples and guides. Television and other people do not raise our little grown-ups. Family and close to family does. My little grown-up has made mention that other little grown-ups' parents use foul language. And they've asked why we don't. We don't want to hear it out of their mouths, so we assume they wouldn't want to hear it from us. I stand behind. If you wouldn't like it, neither would your little grown-up. You are the example and a hero, so be a good one. I invite you to continue to allow your little grown-ups to make their own plates and watch as they begin making healthier choices. This week, I ask that you work on something that you do in front of your little grown-ups that you wouldn't approve of them doing, and make a change. See you next Saturday, and don't forget to visit my blog, littlegrownupadvocate.wordpress.com. Happy days to you all.